Today I'm going to show you how to make these absolutely adorable little berry earrings. These are such a fun, quick little project, and they make really great gifts as well. For this project, I am just using some thread, so you can see it's very thin weight. I have a whole bunch of these little hanks of thread, any color that you want. Today I'm going to make some blueberries, a little bit of green thread, a 2mm crochet hook, scissors to put our earring hooks onto our little berries. You're going to need a pair of these pliers to put the little rings, if you so choose, onto your berry. I recommend having 2 of these. It makes twisting those little loops or hoops a little bit easier. You'll also need 2 earring wires. Now if you don't want to make these into earrings and you want to just use them as appliques, then you won't need any of those extra tools. You'll just need your thread, a hook, and a pair of scissors. And if you're interested in making a bigger version of this, I do have a tutorial for making these little berry appliques using a 4-weight yarn and a larger size hook. Basically the same pattern, we're just making them bigger and we're not worrying about putting the earring hooks onto the berries. So I will link that tutorial in this video if you want to check that out. And without further ado, let's make some berry earrings. To start, you're going to pick up your green thread, and you won't need very much of the green at all. I've already made 4 earrings and I still have quite a bit of this green left. For the actual berry, you will need 1 of these. I'm not sure how many yards are in one of these little thread hanks, but for a pair of earrings, I used an entire hank of the color. To start, you want to put a slip knot on your hook, and we're going to chain 4. And then we're going to slip stitch back into that first chain to create a very small ring. We've got our very small ring. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to work 2 half double crochets right into that ring. So you want to just kind of put your hook into the center of the ring that you created, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go back through everything. That's 1 more half double crochet. Working with thread can take some time to get used to, so go really slowly if you haven't done it too much in the past. We've got our first half double crochet cluster. We want a total of 7 all the way around. In between each cluster, we're going to chain 1 and then work 3. We want 3 half double crochets into that ring. One, 2, and 3, and chain 1. You can see that ring is starting to open up a little bit. The more half double crochets you put in there, the easier it will be to see that center. So I'm going to work 3 half double crochets. And that's my 3rd set of half double crochets. I've got 1, 2, 3. It is hard to see where those chain 1s are. Everything is kind of pushed really close together. Let's work another set of 3. 2, and 3, and chain 1. was my fourth. Let's work another set. 1, 2, 3, and chain 1. One more set of 3 half double crochets. And chain 1. I need one more set. On the last set we're going to work 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and then slip stitch into the center of that ring. So we started with a chain 2 half double crochets for that first half double crochet cluster. For those middle ones we've worked 3 half double crochet clusters. For the last one we're going to start with 2 half double crochet clusters, or 2 half double crochets I should say, chain 2, and slip stitch to that center to finish. Now I like to yarn over and go through once, pull up that loop, cut your thread, leaving a little bit of a tail just to weave in that end. And now we've got the little top of our berry. To work the actual berry, I'm just going to put a loose slip stitch on my hook. So you're going to grab your berry top, and this first chain 1 space is a little bit hard to see. Count over 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and it should be that one right there. We're going to put our hook through that chain 1 space and then through the loop of our new color, and just, you can tighten up that loop if you need to, pull that through to join. We're going to work a chain 2, and every row starts with a chain 2 and 2 half double crochets right back into that same chain 1 space. So we're creating little shells, and chain 1. You're going to want to count over 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and work 3 half double crochets into that next chain 1 space. Those chain 1 spaces are hard to see, so I like to just kind of count 3 stitches in between these shells. Chain 1 after the shell. You're going to have a total of 6 of these shells for your first round, and you're just going to be working into those chain 1 spaces, chaining 1 in between the shells. So we want 3 half double crochets for each shell, chain 1, find the next, chain 1, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, count over if you can't tell where that chain 1 space is, and then work into it, 3 half double crochets, chain 1, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my last chain 1 space, so I'm going to work my 3 half double crochets, and there is the end of round 1. We are going to decrease a shell on each side to create that little triangle berry shape. So chain 1, turn, and just find the next stitch, slip stitch over, and then slip stitch into that chain 1 space, and we can start the same pattern. Chain 2 and 2 half double crochets into the same chain 1 space, chain 1 in between our shells, move to the next space, and 3 half double crochets. Chain 1, move to the next shell, 3 half double crochets. Because we're decreasing on each row, it goes really fast once you get into this berry pattern. Chain 1 in between shells. I've got 2 shells left, 1 space, so this is my last shell for this row. And I'm just going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on the next row. So you basically repeat this until you only have that 1 shell left. So I'm going to work quickly the rest of my blueberry until I've got those last 2 shells, and then I'll show you how to finish up that final one on the bottom. I've got 1 space left. Work my 3 half double crochets. I'm going to chain 1, turn, and here's my last row because I've got 2 shells and 1 space. So I'm just going to slip stitch over into that space, chain 2, and work 2 half double crochets. And there's my last shell on the bottom. Now I like to, just to kind of keep it straight, turn without chaining and just hold that yarn or that thread over, get it out of the way, and then just slip stitch into that very middle stitch on the bottom just to create a nice end point. Now I can cut my yarn, leave a little bit of a tail to weave in. And we've got our berry. Now they're essentially the same front and back. You can't really tell a difference, but if you like one side better than the other, make a note of that, whichever side that you want the earring to face forward. So I like to go ahead, weave in my ends, and leave 1 tail on the back so I know that that is the back side. So when I put my earrings on, I know the side with the tail is going to be the back side. Because sometimes once you weave in your ends and if you cut everything really close, it may be difficult to tell which side you liked better and which side is the front and the back. I've got my 2 berries done now. You can see I left the tails on the back. I've already woven them in. I just need to cut them off, but I wanted to make sure that I knew which side was my back side. To put our earring hooks on, you can use these optional jump rings to create a little bit of space in between your berry and the earring hook. You can also just put the earring hook right into the top, one of those top stitches of your berry. That works as well. You're going to grab a pair of pliers. I recommend having 2, and you're going to find the little opening. This is where it helps to have the second one. If you grab with the 2 pliers, 1 on each side, and twist, it will open up. You're going to find a top stitch wherever you can get into, as close to the center as possible. This can be really tricky. In fact, it's probably the trickiest part of this entire project. You want to be careful not to split your thread. Once you've got it in a stitch, pick up your second jump ring if you have one, put it over and around. You can now close up that first jump ring, and there we go. Pick up your earring wire, carefully twist that open. This is where it's helpful to leave that end so you know which is the front. Into that second jump ring, we're going to put our earring. You can hold it up, make sure it's facing the right way, and close it up. And there we go. We're going to do the same thing for this one. Grab my jump ring, open it up, put it into as close as you can to the middle of the top of your berry. Try to get through an actual stitch and not split your thread. Like I said, this is the trickiest part of the entire project. Put your second jump ring on. Close it up. Make sure it's closed enough so your earring won't fall out. Grab your next earring hook, open that up. Here's my string, that's the back. So I'm going to turn it around and close that earring wire up. And now I can take care of these ends. There we are. 2 cute blueberries to go with my pink berry and my red berry. I hope you enjoyed this quick and fun tutorial. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye!